So let's get to the good news, or at least not as bad news, with Joss Whedon and his project, The Nevers. If you did see The Nevers, you know it ended in a very weird cliffhanger. They showed several episodes that culminated in a very kind of twist ending, and then it stopped. Like most people, I assumed just those episodes were season one, and apparently not. Apparently, the first season did contain more episodes, but for whatever reason, HBO did not really broadcast them, but they are still available, and now they're finally going to get released. But where and when still seems a little bit in dispute, but they are coming, quote, to the public if you're willing to pay a price or be patient. We're going to see the rest of the Nevers. I'm sort of mixed on the Nevers. I did like a lot of it, but a lot of it also just didn't work for me. I'd still regard Angel, Buffy, and Firefly as much, much better Whedon work. I would recommend The Nevers. It's not a waste of time. It's good, but I think it could have been so, so much better. Now, that gets us into the issue of where Joss is with Hollywood. Will he complete The Nevers? Because obviously season one should be leading to more seasons. And from what I understand, I'm not going to betray the sources, but people are telling me that people inside The Nevers are saying, yes, a season two will happen. I can't confirm that, but season two may happen. Now, will it happen given the environment where Joss is in, all these controversies with Ray Fisher, Chris Carpenter, Sarah Michelle Gellar, just the list goes on of people he's had issues with, and they have issues with him. I will note, if you do like Joss, the guy has not dropped off the planet. He's relaxing, having dinners, he's been remarried, so he's doing okay. He's very rich, so don't worry about Joss finding some food at the homeless shelter. He's fine. He's basically taking a holiday. But should he be welcomed back? A lot of his fans don't really care about what happened with Ray Fisher or Chris Carpenter. I think there were some abuses, but we have a civil court system. If they have an issue, they can just sue him and resolve that case legally. Are some issues more alarming than others? Yes, but again, there's a back and forth. If you go through the evidence, it's a little bit all over the place in terms of accusations and who is saying what and why. I will say, though, I'm a little skeptical of what Sarah Michelle Gellar says. Some of her co-stars do note she did try to stick up for people, so I want to be fair to both sides. It's kind of mixed on both ends, and whether Joss was really, really terrible or people are exaggerating these accounts, and sometimes, frankly, just making stuff up. So we're going to have to wait and see. I don't foresee, frankly, that season two of The Nevers will happen myself, but if it does happen, I'll try to judge it fairly. And that gets us into other perhaps sequels or continuations that will happen, because the sequel to Passion of the Christ with Mel Gibson has been announced, and also Jared Leto is promising he's going to continue the Tron franchise. And Mel is probably well known in terms of his controversies. Let me recap for those who don't know. He's been accused, and I think in some cases it's pretty well confirmed, he made very anti-Semitic, anti-homosexual, anti-black statements. I mean, again, you can't get out of it. He said the N-word. He's been saying a lot of derogatory language, accused Jews of conspiring to create wars all around the world. Pretty, I think, horrible jokes about the Holocaust and Jewish people and so on and so forth. And has a lot of interesting, if weird, conspiracy theories about the Illuminati. Seems you can't escape the charge that he is, and I've studied this for years, so I know some people are going to be whining in the comment section, but no, I've studied fascism for decades. This does fit the F word, good or bad. Does that mean he should be canceled, or we shouldn't see the sequel to Passion of the Christ? Even without the controversies, a sequel to Passion of the Christ or Tron, they would be iffy projects for me anyway. I just think it's kind of hard to get the magic back for those projects, so I think they would be question marks anyway. But now, new environment where we should be canceling people left and right, all over the place, it's definitely become a bigger question mark. And I agree, these statements are bad. Still, I judge Mel Gibson mainly as an artist. He is a really good artist. He's a very good actor. He's a very good director. I would recommend his films. I'd forewarn, as is now pretty obvious, they're going to have a lot of fascist themes in these works, but that's been true for quite a while. As far as Jared Leto, I don't know. That seems a more really unclear case of what are we complaining about. I mean, if this is bad enough for you, then what about Olivia Wilde? And for those who don't know, Olivia was in the Tron sequel. So, again, she's also been caught doing some questionable things with her co-stars behind the scenes of a, we'll just say, sexual nature. If we're going to have the standard, it has to be somewhat consistent, but it doesn't appear there's much consistency. If you like the person, you don't really care about these scandals. If you don't like the person, you think they should be canceled. So it's getting hard to find a way to not be partisan about these issues. And then we have Gina Carano in the background. People thought canceling her was a good idea, but really, what did she do? She just upset some left-wing activists. They didn't like her very much, and allegedly she's anti-Semitic. With her especially, I think that's just not a true charge. So we're mixing false and true allegations all the time here, and often these accusations have pretty weak evidence. I can't claim to be totally pure here because at one time I was very conservative. Not as conservative as Gina or Mel, but I don't know. You can have a conservative ideology and a conservative stance. That doesn't make you necessarily an anti-Semitic Nazi. I don't think Gina is an anti-Semitic Nazi. Mel is a more tough case, but I think, again, we should judge primarily their performance, and that's where I stand. It's a big question mark for me on Tron and Passion of the Christ continuing, but I'm primarily looking at these as artistic works, and I think the artistic merit is already questionable. But yeah, they're definitely in a heap of controversies, and it'll be up to the public to decide if that's enough for the projects to be discontinued.